So we're live, yeah.
We're live already.
Well, we're not streaming yet, but we're live, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So
So if I go and watch.
Oh,
you got it?
yeah, it's working. So abort.
So we got 4 people.
One of them's me. 2 of them are me.
All I did actually, I was just like this. All I did. If you want to get rid of it.
Oh, beauty, it's working.
What's the sound like on there? Do you have any, maybe connect? Oh, actually, is it going to go weird if you connect?
Oh, it's coming out of here.
And then pushing out. Oh, here we go, actually, sorry. There you go.
What is it?
So that's better?
Yeah, hitting that button. They could hear everything we were saying. But now it's all good.
Yeah, right, okay.
Wait, I'm going to go talk and test that.
Yep. Just do a mic check for that.
No, it's back to being shit. No, it's back to being dodgy.
Yeah, so
It's actually showing.
try that again. Yeah. I'll
This
just.
is a live test.
Can we get back to the, because this is a bit funny now, we should be back to the thumbnail and be
So
Can you
we
change
just-
the mic?
We can't go to the. Oh wait.
Oh, you can't change it.
Well, this is a thing.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's what it was. What does that sound like? Is that the iPad mic or? It's gotta be this. Just listen to it. I just want to see the quality.
Might try line out. Something coming out of that line.
It's not a microphone lead.
Oh yeah.
That could be the reason. So
and there are things that keep dying at the same time. Surgery's one of them. I mean, the horror stories, you even want to ask, hey, can you give me a discount? Surgeon? Give me a discount. It's just like, I don't want that guy. Thank you. So 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock
now,
on the dot.
So I think we're doing Miko, then me, then Paul, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You involved with the shooting today? The TBC, how'd it go?
Oh man, it's pretty awesome.
Was it?
Alright, welcome everybody here in Melbourne, in Docklands, and live streamers also at home. There's quite a few people calling us also from their homes from the state. So yeah, big thank you for actually taking the time and coming in. I'm Mikko, I'm the CEO of DHI Australian Operations, and we've got a good crew of speakers today. So we've got Tim Williams, who is one of our certified hair loss consultants. Tim is going to talk about the emotional, I guess, sides and effects of hair loss, and yeah, take you, I guess, through that journey that may be quite familiar already. And then we have a lot of experience. Trichologist, so hair and scalp specialist, will talk about the evolution of surgical hair loss treatments and how it's really a microsurgery these days. And yeah, that's going to be a really good informational, good content for our doctors, our hair transplant surgeons, Dr. Boris Randhava and Dr. Alexis Suevo. They will be mingling here, and any questions that you have around the procedure, around hair loss, anything really at all, they will be available. And we even have a bit of privacy if you want to talk about things that yeah, you would rather have a bit of privacy. We've got a consultation room just outside there. And please, in platelet-rich plasma, factor 4, growth factor therapy, really natural preventative hair loss treatments, and skin regeneration as well. So Sean will talk about non-surgical side of these issues. So that's pretty much it. One thing I always want to say at the start before we go, we confidence that grows within the team, in our expert group, when we see results and the work that we can do. And one example of it, I guess, is my own results. So I was, not balding, but definitely receding the hairline last year, and now go through these treatments as well. So we definitely be looking forward to it. All right, first presentation will be by Tim. Welcome. I'll change just a second. All right.
Good evening, everyone. Firstly, whether it be just a little information you didn't know, or just confidence in the procedures that can be done now compared to maybe what was done in the past and what we're used to seeing. One of the things with a hair transplant is that you don't see the good ones. The good ones are hidden. So when we think of a transplant, a lot of the time is that we see or we think about what was done in the 80s and what was done in the 90s, or what was done by a poor transplant clinic. So what I'm going to talk about though tonight is the emotional side of issues when we might be losing our hair, and confidence is generally the number one thing that tends to be affected. But firstly, this initial realisation that you're losing your hair. So how does that happen? It might happen yourself when you're looking in the mirror. You might be looking at a photo, or you're just having trouble styling your hair now. You're covering up sections. We all grew up thinking, I'm not going to have a comb over, but we end up having a bit of a comb over, trying to cover up the areas that we might be a little bit embarrassed about. So we deal with a bit of shock, denial, oh, I'm not losing my hair, it's going to stop, don't worry about it. We get a bit disappointed, embarrassed about where to go, or not knowing where to go. We can't ask our friends about it because we don't want to talk to them about it. We think, well, my friend did get it. My friend's hair is improving, but I can't talk to him about it because I'm a little embarrassed about it myself. So confusion, looking for answers on where to go. There's a lot of information out there, and a lot of it's not correct, unfortunately. So before you get hair loss, but no one's going to really do that. So then you can have a look at treatments that might slightly thicken your hair, or if you've lost hair in certain areas, you need to fix your hair. So with prevention, there's medications out there. Once again, you've got but in my experience in this industry, no one's really happy with the amount of regrowth they get. You can be promised the world, but you're not going to be really happy about the regrowth you get. And the reason for that is where there's no follicle, you literally cannot grow any more hair. You can only get that problem fixed. Other options are a wig, a toupee. Most of our business on surgery, we do have preventative treatment options. Once again, that can be diagnosed and recommended to you by your hair loss consultant. Then we come down to the important factors with deciding which type of transplant or which type of treatment option is going to be suitable for me. So we've got to think about some of these factors would include how long do I have to have off work, how long is the recovery period going to take, how painful is it? Procedure. You've got if you're going to results, I don't want a hairline that people are going to be asking me for the rest of my life, have you done a surgical procedure? Or your plugs look great. Looking thin, as we are on the left-hand side here. I don't want to be looking thin across this area for the rest of my life, because that's automatically restricting your hairstyling options. One of the reasons we want to have a transplant is to give ourselves hairstyling options. These are already restricting your hairstyling options before you even have a trauma. You're actually going to be able to go back to work faster. Therefore, hopefully, you're going to save yourself a lot of money or a lot of annual leave. when I figured out I had to do this presentation was actually finding out when my clients came in, before I did much consulting with them, what is the most important deciding factors for them to decide on what, and they may not have thought of all of these, but what are their most important deciding factors on which and give you some feedback. If you're looking at these options here, and if there's anything else that you might be deciding on, by all means put your hand up and I'd love to hear some feedback. But if you're looking at these are your deciding factors, which one would be the most, or which 1, 2, 3 or 4 are going to be the most important priorities for you?
Scarring.
Scarring, yep.
Price.
Price is a deciding factor, of course, yep. Is that the most important?
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else?
Price.
Price is the most important for you as well?
Final outcome.
Final outcome is the most important for you, right? Yep. And we're all going to have different, there's no right or wrong here, you know. Yes, we've all got different deciding factors, but I did a survey of about 20 clients over the last month, and they all came up with these. You want to be able to get out of your medical procedure, that's the first one, yeah? You want to know who's doing the medical procedure. DHI have a strong policy that only a doctor will do every extraction and every implantation. You can look at famous doctors around the world and that's fine. You can look at travelling overseas, you can have a look through different places in Melbourne or Australia. Ask is, who is going to be doing each extraction and implantation? DHI's policy is a doctor only. I would personally like to pay just a fraction more dollars, if that's what it turns out to be, and not have to explain myself that I've had to explain to everyone that I meet that I've had a hair transplant. It's personal. I'll tell people if I had a hair transplant, but I don't want people asking me if I had a hair transplant. The recovery period and time off work. So if we did have transplant, but you had to take 3 weeks less off work, that saved you, I don't know how much money, generally. So that does become a deciding factor. And then, yeah, price overall comes a deciding factor. But I would say that we're looking at long-term situations first, and then going down to short-term. No? Thanks everyone for your time. I'm going to invite Paul out onto the stage, and he's going to talk a bit more in depth about the differences between the newest versions of surgery like DHI and comparing to where we've come from. So thanks very much.
Okay, so the idea with hair transplant, we get these amazing images popping up of your punch graphs, your flat rotation, all the nasty stuff that was happening before the beginning of the modern day transplant. If we think about the modern day transplant, that actually sort of started in the early 90s with the development of the FUT surgery. And since then, we've just been slowly evolving, and we're trying to improve techniques consistently to make the overall experience better for the patient and to provide an outcome that is more natural than it's ever been. So what I want to talk about today is just where those steps have come now and where we're at versus where we were at. So we believe we're stepping in the right direction. This has probably been the best time. The undetectable surgery. Everyone can sort of say, yes, it's, you know, I see gaps, the density is not great, the alignment's not right, the hairs aren't facing the right direction. There's so many issues there with some of the techniques, and they haven't evolved. You know, why did it take so long? Why do we stick with one surgery technique for 10 years before it evolved to another technique, and then the surgeons got lazy and just got a drill? and it's taken many, many years to get to where we are now, but we're slowly getting there. So as I said, tonight's really about this evolution and how we're slowly changing. As we know, there are three main techniques, and I'm sure most of you are aware if you've done any researching at all. There's your FUT, and this is what I learned in the early 90s. This is a technique that was the beginning of a modern day transplant. This was phenomenal when it first came out, because the stuff we were doing prior to this was not great. It was punch grafting, it was terrible. This is the old dolls look, you know. Everyone says, oh my God, you've got punches or plates. That was a plug. Look, FUE came out, this is in 2002. So I think that's still a really long time ago. And this is a new technique, which the idea was to slowly extract individual follicles one at a time instead of removing a whole strip of tissue. Now the strip of skin was easy, not a comfortable procedure. FUE came along with the premise that they were going to get you back to work faster, there was going to be less scarring, it was going to be more natural looking. But the drawback was for the surgeons, the surgeon wanted to do the procedure, so they weren't overly welcoming on this technique. So we saw a lot of shortcuts taken in the technique to save money and save expense for the surgeon, and obviously to lessen the quality of the procedure for the patient. In 2010, DHI evolved their version of FUE back to probably its original basis, by miniaturizing all the extraction techniques, but putting the onus back into the surgeon himself to do the whole procedure. I said, believe it or not, in 93 and 2002, a lot of procedures weren't actually done by the doctors. We were performing up to 3 surgeries a day, and the surgeon would be involved with about 2 hours of the total procedure. Now at $20,000 a day for a procedure in the 90s, money was very good for transplant surgeons. 2002 was a big change, so that wasn't overly popular with surgeons because they could perform 1 surgery a day. And this is not what they were about. They were losing money to do this technique. So they found faster ways of doing it. And once again, went back onto technicians and nurses to do the procedure. And as I said, 2010, that all changed. A company, DHI, our group, they decided that this had to change. We had to do things better, and we had to do it better for the patients. So the onus was to actually create a whole new training academy to train surgeons how to use their skill set to manually do the work themselves. We couldn't go to the old surgeons, they've been taking it easy for many years now. They don't want to do this technique. But each surgeon had to be retrained on how to set the patient. Was obviously improving basically survival rates of grafts, reducing the scarring, giving more natural appearances. So as we look at why we needed to evolve, we had to enhance the patient journey to increase the density. So what we didn't realise, they rocked up for a hair transplant, thinking they're going to have 1 surgery, and that was it. No, in the 90s and 2000s, you have 1 procedure, in 6 to 12 months you come back and do the procedure again, add the density. The first procedure is around about 50 hairs per centimetre square. It's not very dense. You have to go back again in 6 to 12 months to repeat the process. So if we wanted to come up with a technique, we could increase the density to nearly full density in a single sitting. On TV within a week. And no one can tell, they're still shaving their head, and they have been, because quite a few surgeons had shaved heads, so that was fine. No one even knew they were on TV. And the other thing is 100% natural in appearance. We have to guarantee that no one can tell you had a hair transplant. That's the principle behind it. We don't want you walking down the street, as Tim was saying, rightly so. And it's obvious you've had a hair transplant because you're not more confident, you're not empowered by that. If anything, you're going to hide it. You're still going to wear a hat. You're going to comb your hair differently. But we want you to be able to brush your hair back or go for a swim and not worry about how it looks. So these are the factors of why we had to do it. So if we look at the levels of scale, FUT, 90s, great, still being done today by a lot of surgeons, but it's inevitable you will have a scar, it's visual. FUE, it's faster, yes, it's done by a motorised handpiece, it's quicker for the surgeon. The problem is you get that motley sort of, you still get quite a bit of visual scarring there. We're talking only a 3,500 hair transplant there. A guy on the right had a 9,000 hair transplant using a microfine instrument to extract each hair by hand, 1 at a time. It took a long time on the day to do it, don't worry about that, it took us all day to do it. But the thing is, he was back on the rugby field, he's an AFL player, and basically when he ran back, we did it in October, he ran out on the 3rd of January, he owned it, he said, you know, about a hair transplant. But it looks completely natural. So this is a technique we do these days. The idea is, it's to simplify things. And people think surgery, it's a huge technical thing and there's so many things involved. No, we simplify it. We reduced all the tools, all the different gadgetry out of it, and we got down to a single little, what we call micro punch, which is all controlled by hand. It's less than a millimeter in all virtual cases, and we extract air one at a time, popping the hairs out. It is very slow, it's very boring, nothing exciting happens, but we sit there and we can extract that from a large area. We then load it into a fine needle, and we just inject them back in. There's no more cutting, there's no more recipient holes, what we call a recipient hole in place into the pair of tweezers. No more of that. You use a fine needle, it's actually like a little boat of them, it's injected back in one at a time. Yes, it's slow, yes, it takes all day to do, but everything is less than a millimeter in size now. And when we're using an instrument that small, that means we can pack them in really tight. There's no more limitations by having to make a cut and then trying to poke one and then make another incision and then poking another hair in. We can't pack them in tight in that technique. But with a needle now, we can really add the density, which is really, really critical. Obviously, biggest problem I found, and I always say, I've been doing this a really long time, and in the 90s, the doctors were doing most of the procedure. They did the extraction, of course, because it's a big strip of tissue extracted from the back of the scalp. They had to remove that, suture up, and then everything else was done by nurses. The rest of the procedure was done by nurses. So I said, first 2 hours by a doctor, the rest was done by technicians and nurses. These days, from the minute you walk in, no one else is basically allowed to touch your scalp, except for a doctor. Okay, as a qualified surgeon who has trained extensively in this technique. No one else is allowed to do this technique. Why? Because we're the only company in the world that guarantees a natural appearance in our surgery. So we have to make sure we know exactly who's doing it and that they're qualified to do it. Otherwise, we have to repeat the process, and it's something we never want to do. So all our surgeons are done from the beginning to the end by the doctors. The technique, it's really simple. We extract. All we do, we literally extract one follicle at a time. And a lot of people maybe not realize that a graft itself may consist of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hairs. These are all separated, so we know exactly which hair, where each hair will go back into the scalp. We plan this out. This is not random placement of hairs like we used to. Everything is really, really carefully thought out because we have to make it look natural. We can't use these big 3s and 4s across the front of your hair on because it's just look absolutely hideous. It's all nice, soft, individual, single hair follicles, one at a time. And these, they take a long time to do. But the work is amazing. So yes, the follicle care is really essential. We don't. Up until now, we've had a really small window of opportunity to do a hair transplant. Basically, it's called time out of body. A time out of body was approximately 3.5, 4 hours max before we had to get grafts back into the body. Okay, which means we couldn't do this technique a few years ago. This is impossible. Prior to 2010, everything had to be really short. So we had to get the hairs out and get them back into the body within 3.5 to 4 hours. If we didn't, we would start losing some of those grafts. So it's called really poor survival rate. Survival rates dropped as low as 50% at one point. So only half of what you took out actually grows. You don't have an unlimited supply. We have 12,000 hairs on the average head to move. If I throw half a minute in, there's 6,000 hairs for a hair to be your head. It makes no logical sense. No one can do that. So survivability of grafts was a huge evolution. This is something that's changed the game. All of a sudden, you now have close to that full 12,000 hairs available to actually utilize in a hair transplant. Okay, and the way we do that is using particular products. These are biotissue preserving. Okay, so they sound horrendous, but they're actually made up from simple antioxidants that allow us to keep human tissue. The hair follicle, of course, is attached to the skin, the biggest organ in the body. So it allows us to attach, basically keep a hair follicle out of the body for up to 9 hours before it gets stressed. The longest it's been preserved and put back into the body and grown is 3 days. Okay, no, we don't do that. Okay, but 9 hours is phenomenal, which means take your first hair out, you don't actually have to put the base of the first, oh, so the last hair that we get out 4 hours of extraction, the last hair doesn't have to go into up to 13 hours. We could do really long procedures if we had to, and we're doing a bit there. But it can be done these days. We didn't have that technology before. This is part of the follicle care. In the phase 3 process, this is a really famous guy actually, but I can't say who he was because he hasn't owned his hair transplant yet. Everyone knows he's had one, but still he won't admit it. But this is the injection of the hairs. It's not the bloody process that we used to have anymore. We're not making recipient holes and then basically bleeding out and we're trying to poke something into it. We're just injecting hairs back into the skin. It's really simple, it's really clean. Okay, it's actually a lot cleaner process. See if we can find, okay. This is the horrendous stuff, okay? This is the bit that does look scary. This is the extraction part of the process. So this is as gory as it gets. So our older techniques when we're using drills, okay, and this was common practice up until 2010, to extract. Our biggest concern was it wasn't uniform. When we're using a drill to extract, it's very hard to keep it uniform. It's all about the speed. Because when anyone uses a drill, it's all about I can do this many hairs, I can do this many grafts in a day. Because it can really punch them out as quick as possible. But we don't get the uniform extraction. And sometimes we get what I call a cluster effect of our extraction. So we end up creating these scars, these pockets of scar tissue. And this is the problem when we rely on a tool to do the extraction for us. When we do it by hand, we can uniformly extract them from exactly the areas we want to. So in doing so, in comparison, we can spread that extraction area out over a lot easier. You give it a lot more uniform, so when it actually heals, it's nowhere near as visual, and in most cases, should be undetectable to be extracted the hairs. Okay, one thing this is the protocol we're talking about for the follicle care. This is so important, and as I said, if you've been in the industry as long as me, you'd know, and the amount of corrections we have to do where guys have just lost so many hairs in the transplant process by going somewhere else. Poor follicle care is so essential, guys. I mean, you will not believe the importance of protecting this hair. Everyone thinks this is the most important part. No, hell no. That is the important part, because when you run out of this, it's back, chest, pubic, whatever else you've got in your body to fill in the gaps. And guess what? It looks like back, chest, or pubic. It doesn't look like bloody head hair. So we don't want to use it. People say, well, let's use my back hair. Why, man? It's really long. You know? It's really short and curly. It's not terrible on your head. You sort of got hair. I want to put it up there. Well, we don't even want to extract it. It's not easy. Head hair is the best for head hair, which means the only thing you've got to worry about is this part. If you don't have enough back hair, don't do the procedure, because you'll never get the result you want to achieve. So it is really critical, which means when you come to do the procedure, you want to make sure they care about that part, because this is the only thing that's going to fix your hairline. You run out of that, you're in trouble. So this is really essential. Survivability from now, to give you an idea, we've gone from 50% to now 97%, which is ridiculously good. Okay, we're not perfect. We want to be, but we can't. There's a thing called a transection. Okay, we don't lose grafts once we get them out of the body. Our problem is sometimes when we go in, we may nick a follicle, we may trim a little bit of the follicle, because it's all done by hand. We can't see under the skin. But we've reduced that on straight hair to less than 1%. On African curly hair, it can be high as 3%. It's called the transection rate, but it is reduced to next to nothing in comparison. So if someone rocks up 12,000 hairs, we can put on 11,500, close to 12,000 hairs, but at least 11,500 hairs into the top of the head. And they are amazing numbers, and we can do some really big changes there. The implanting, just once again, just to give you an idea of the difference in technique, but also the density. So two techniques, okay? We've got when we inject hair in, it's not clean, it's not tidy, of course, but this is straight during the surgery. But we can actually pack the hairs in a lot closer. And it's a lot cleaner to visually see for the patient. They come out and go, oh my God, I can actually see my hairs there. You're not having to deal with the visual aspect of it as much. To give you an idea, okay, these are modern FUE. This is actually another famous guy who did one overseas. I can't believe he didn't come to us, because he lives in Australia. He's a musician. He went overseas, got a modern version of FUE done in London, okay, a very reputable clinic. But the scarring and the visual sort of looking on the top of your head. You just don't have hair that looks like that. And this is the problem when you don't let the doctor do a procedure. Someone thinks they can create a natural hairline. Well, that's not going to be natural. So these are two different techniques. This guy here's had, I think it was 10,000 hairs, or 10,500 hairs. Over a 2-day process, this whole scalp has been done in 2 days. And this took 2 days, but the amount of swelling and inflammation is a lot less than someone who had a very minor procedure on a frontal hairline correction. And that's the different techniques now we can do. The big numbers, people say you can't do big numbers now. No, we do. We just work on it. Okay, but the difference is our healing and survivability is phenomenal. single sitting with FUE, yes, we can get the hairs in, and we were. We were still putting them in at 50 hairs per centimetre square, for approximately about 26 grafts per centimetre square is what we're putting into an area. The outcome, though, is low density. And this is a lot of people don't calculate into their cost of surgery when they go and book something. They don't think about the fact they have to repeat it again in 6 to 12 months' time. They only think about that initial surgery. That's only half the job done. You still got to go in and fix up the gaps. In our technique these days, with doubling that density, we can now put in close to 100 hairs per centimetre square. Okay, our highest achieved, and this is up from Brisbane, I'm going to talk for a Brisbane plan, we're at 132 hairs per centimetre square, because that guy had an exceptionally high ratio of hairs per graft. He had a ratio of 3.2 hairs per graft. Does anyone understand that part? The hairs per graft? So as I said, every time we take a follicle out, it may have 1, 2, 3, 4 hairs. So depending on how many grafts, so someone's going to say, oh, we're going to give you 2,000 grafts. That's great. If it gets 2,000 single hairs, it's only 2,000 hairs. That's not great. Okay, that's not going to give you any coverage. So you need to know your ratio of hairs per graft. So you've got a really good ratio, and that ratio is around about 2.4, 2.5, 2.6. When we inject in at close to 50 hairs per centimetre square, we can give you really high density hearings. Globally, the highest we can achieve overseas in India, I think it was 200 hairs per centimetre square, which is just abnormal. No one won't do that. But it can be done. So it can be done. But these days, our control on angle, density, is a lot better. We can now force the growth of every hair. And we choose the angle and the direction and orientation we want that hair to grow. So if we're saying a crown, we've got to rebuild a crown. We literally inject every single hair around the crown. We will rebuild it one at a time. And we can create beautiful looking crowns again, perfect looking fun hairlines. Virtually undetectable. Okay, this is one of our patients. He's actually going to go on a celebrity TV show in the next few days, hopefully. Just right, he wants to talk about it because he's really big about men's health. He actually lives up in Brisbane, and he's a young kid, he's an entrepreneur, but he's been dealing a lot with health-related issues himself, and he knows a lot of his mates are going through it as well. So he wants to get onto this TV show and actually broadcast it back. No, he did have a hair transplant, he's quite comfortable about it. But his journey is a bit different to some, and not too different, of course. He actually had an FUT surgery, first of all, overseas. That's to strip out the scalp, okay? And effectively, it gave him really low density, and the front hairline was really, really bad. I'll show you a photo of that soon.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is this before or after the first hair transplant?
This is after his first, so he's already had a single hair transplant. It was so bad, he was actually wearing a wig. Yeah. So when he came to see us, he was actually wearing a hairpiece. He was embarrassed about the work he had done. When you see the front hairline, you'll see that the placement of the grafts was not correct. So we had a lot of hairs that were just irregular in basically growth patterns. Yeah, it didn't look natural at all. So he was really upset about it, of course. We came along and said, oh, we can fix this. We can force new hairs in between all the existing ones, inject new ones all around there, rebuild the density at the front, and also correct his crown. So of course, this is 6 months post-procedure, and the idea was to start building up his density and coverage again. The limitation we had in a case like this was the numbers of hairs we could do. Because Sandy, another surgeon, had already been up there. You saw the length of this guy's scalp, the back of his head. They've taken out a huge portion of the scalp already. Okay? And that doesn't grow back. The hairs just don't naturally reappear. They're gone. That was 4,000 hairs that he wasn't happy with. And we lost. So that we only had really 8,000 hairs left to work with. So that's the idea for us was to rebuild this. And give him at least confidence, he didn't have to wear a hairpiece anymore. So it was 6 months. I'll show you his head photo first. This is not one of my patients. This is Andrew, awesome guy, basically university student, engineer, absolutely hated his hairline, had lost all confidence, and just sort of came up and said, guys, what can you do? Can you give me something that's going to look natural? And no, and I don't want anyone to know. So we really worked on the front hairline, making sure he didn't want a dense hairline. He wanted a natural looking hairline. People said, oh, it's not strong. He didn't want that. Yes, we can go super high density if you want, but you've also got to suit. He's a Caucasian. He's not really great with a solid hairline. It's got to be a natural appearing hairline that builds up in density as it goes through. So this is what we did for him. This was 4,000 hairs, 1 day procedure. So it's a single sitting, 4,000 hairs, all done in the champs. I don't know if you know this one. This is a Brisbane AFL player that we do, a guy called Josh Walker. And what I hope about Josh is he just told everyone. You know, like we've had other NRL players. No, man, he came out and said, mate, I've done it. You know, and guess what? I was talking about the same. They talk about the fact he's got hair again, looks good. But they actually talk about the fact that he doesn't anymore. All they care about is the fact that he actually knows, hey, it looks really good. And he's still shaving his head. If you see Josh Walker, I don't know if any of you know Josh Walker or seen Josh Walker play, but even now he's still keeping his hair, another one on the sides and the back. 9,000 hairs. And he still has a shaved head. That's the key point. Look it up, Google him. See, basically Google Josh Walker 2018, you'll see all his photos. He still has a shaved head. You choose to tell people, oh, man, I want to die. You're going to freak out if your hair grows back. You go, oh no, just put from 2 and 1. Can't get it, make up some story. But for that level, yeah, he's getting better. He's not a mass murderer. He's a really, he's a good guy. But we have, this is what we call our really poor donor. So this guy came to us. Really nice guy in the army, and just you know, he'd gone down the road of actually, you can't see it on the back photo on his crown, but he tried to put what we call micropigmentation. So it's using like a tattoo ink to recreate the look of the hair follicle on the back of the scalp. It wasn't successful, it got like a greeny blue, man, he was not happy about it. So it's what we call a limited donor area. So in a normal case like this, we'll be going, mate, you need 8,000 hairs bare minimum to get a good result. We achieved that result in 4,500 hairs. That's all we had available. We did not have a good donor. A lot of people say it's impossible, we can't do the surgery. No, if we place it correctly and we're in full control about how we place the hairs, no, he will never be thick. We can't give him a perfect hairline. He doesn't have the available donor. When he comes in, you see the grin on his face, but he's actually got coverage again, and it's hiding the pigmentation he had. And this is a permanent result, of course. This is never going to go away. You're going to die like this now. Because these hairs are permanent, must be extracted. So, yeah, it was a great result with limited space, or with limited hairs that we could do, we had available to us, I should say. This is that guy before that we're talking about, okay? So this is the one from the very beginning. This is his original hair transplant. So we can sort of see at the front there, it was really low density. It lost a lot of hairs in behind. It's what they call shock loss. So a lot of the time when you make a lot of trauma to an area, okay, extensive amounts of trauma, you can actually accelerate the thinning process behind it. So you've got to be very careful in the transition area. So when you're putting hairs in next other areas, you so carefully don't want to damage any of the existing hairs. Because otherwise, in 6 months, only this is grown and that's falling out behind it. It's useless. So you've got to be very careful in that technique. So he had a lot of shock loss, which is a real shame. So this was basically 2 months after surgery. Yes, it's not great. It takes time to grow. We know it's a 3-month process before it even starts to look decent. Okay? 6 months though, there's this difference. It's his own hair. Okay? So there's the idea, there's a guy from behind before. Can we do it? Yeah, of course we can do it these days. This is the thing we're trying to get out there. Change your thought process on what surgery has to look like. Because it can be really, really awesome these days. No one even knows you've done it. That's the best thing about it, unless you tell them. Yes, okay, Dean Wilbauer, he's another one of my patients. So we recreated this guy. This was done in end of 2016, Dean was. Young kid, once again, just give it up. Like he's what they call basically his forelock region, midsection had gone, and he's wanted that strong hairline again. So versus Andrew, who's wanted a really soft, natural hairline, we had to work with this guy and give him a strong hairline, but still make it look natural. Okay, in a single sitting. So this was all done in one day, and we repaired this in a single sitting. 1 week later, you're back at work, no one should be able to tell you you've ever had a transplant. So this is him 6 months post-surgery. That's his own hair. You know, so results speak for themselves these days. You can just change the way people look, full stop. Beards, all right, we do beard transplants now. If you want a beard in a week, man, just come and see us. We can put some hairs if you didn't have them before and fill up the gaps. It's really amazing. The good thing with facial hair, it's really vascular. It grows quick. You No, we can give a guy a bed or fix up another scar, hair lip, or anything like that. In 2 weeks, we can have the hair growing again. As you can see, I have a heap of hair done that, so there's no problems about that. Another bed correction. So you can do subtle, you can do more intense. Obviously, if you want to look like a model, you can do it as well. Scar, as I said, scars are big. People in the past, we could never inject into scar tissue. We could never, because it would actually create a scar on the scar. These days, no, we can inject the hairs directly into the scar tissue. As long as the blood supply is there, the hairs will grow. So we check for blood supply. If the blood supply is good, we just lock it. It's not a problem at all anymore. So there's no need to walk around with half a brow missing, whatever the case. But we've done full facial burns, and it's giving some of the eyebrows back, or basically moustache. It's amazing what we can do now. And no scarring, same principle. Final female hairline correction, yeah, of course we do that. The big thing about ladies is we actually, you can't even tell we've done the procedure. We were to a lady's transplant. She'd be back to work. Yeah, one lady, she was a medical reception. She was popular. She was pretty tough. But she actually went back to work straight after surgery. Final hairline correction, literally sat at the reception. I don't know what people must have thought, because you could still see the dots. We injected them, but literally straight after surgery. So she came in. We only did a half day session on it. It's back to work the same day. But a lady, we don't shave the scalp. And most guys don't even have to shave. Everyone thinks you've got to have a shaved head these days. So depending on the area we're correcting. Ladies, we can just inject the hairs in between your existing hairs. You don't have to shave your head to do that. We can just fill in the gaps in between. We prefer to shave a guy's head, particularly if we're filling up a midsection or crown, if there's a lot of hair supporting it already. If there's nothing, just fill in the gaps. But if it's a lot of hair there, it's really hard to inject hairs in between, which sort of spending half the day just parting the hair to find the gaps. So yes, guys, it is easier if you want big numbers to shave your head. Is it critical? No. You don't have to shave. Okay, things are getting better. Okay, you don't have to walk around. You would never have a female client either. So yeah, we do it without shaving scalps. So that's it. The main thing we really want to get across is change your perception on what surgery is. Understand if you're going to do it, understand who's going to do it. Because if you lose the most valuable asset, which is the hair at the back of your head, then you have to go and see people like us to fix it. And then we have a limited area to work with. We still work here, but it's understanding you've got to do your research, guys. Things are evolving. We're not doing techniques that were developed 15, 20 years ago anymore. We've evolved from there, and it's getting better. And the only bad thing about it is it just takes a little bit longer in the surgery chair. It's not even more expensive than it was in the 90s. Everything is actually dropping in costs. You can't charge 20 grand for a day anymore. No, it's those two principles are gone. But it is getting better. And we can do something that's really, really phenomenal, and no one has done as we've ever done. So I'm sure there's going to be probably a couple of questions about numbers or anything.
When you say transplant, you mean implant?
No, implanting was a hated with implanting.
Can you always repeat the question just for the live streamers?
Yes. Okay, sorry. So implanting versus transplanting. Yes, we do a direct hair implant. I'm from I've been doing this for a long time now, and I envisage these sort of ideas of these synthetic hairs that we were injecting into scalps in the late 90s and early 2000s, and it was just an absolute debacle. It was like pretty much putting fishing line into your scalp. And then surprisingly enough, it would get infected, and you end up having massive surgery to have them all removed. It was just terrible. So it is an implant. So it's a hair extracted from the back of your scalp and then literally just re-implanted back into the skin. So it is a transplant because we're transplanting from hair to there. Okay, but we implant them directly into the skin. It's your own hair growing. It's not synthetic, it's nothing else, it's your own hair. So it's just really taking basically a basal plant from this pot and re-potting it over here. That's all we're doing. And it's methodical. Yeah, it takes a few hours. We'll give you Netflix these days. You fall asleep for the first 4 hours watching Netflix for the next few hours. That's pretty much the extent of it.
So what's your approach? Say if you want, say, the hairline restored.
Yes.
Obviously, you need them crown and got to keep.
Yes.
So what's the approach there?
Okay, this is really, I'm a huge fan of prevention. The number one thing I go through every one of my clients is we've got to hold on to what you've got. Okay, because the idea behind this, we want to fill in the gaps. Okay, and then not losing them all. Okay, so you never have to see us again because we're not that cool. No, we're not a bloody dentist. You just got to brush your teeth afterwards. Brush your teeth, don't have another root canal the following year. Hair transplants are the same principle. You know, we hold on to what you've got. So number one priority is, yes, we will recommend, definitely, and we're talking medications that are currently available. You look at the drug finasteride, of course, and it's some great medication. If you research it, yes, it's scary because it has been associated with loss of libido or all these sort of issues. But that's Dr. Google. You've got to look at the numbers of people that are using this stuff. Yes, some people will be affected, and they're the ones you definitely can't. So then look at your other alternatives to finasteride. Okay, so there are options out there. Sorpimeta works, but you have to be generally the older. So over the age of 40, I'm a big fan of sorpimeta. That's all I take myself. Okay, but prior to 40, you just got to be a bit careful because you understand that testosterone level is pretty high until we get to about 45. Okay, so as we get high, as we get older, excess levels are dropping. So the rate that we actually genetically thin decreases. It doesn't accelerate. We've lost a lot of hair by 45. But it's not accelerating. The worst time to lose hair is in our teens. Because we're going to hit a peak of testosterone by the time we're 21. Guess what? If you start losing hair at 14, you're probably bald at 23. If you don't start losing hair till you're 40, you never actually go completely bald. You don't have enough testosterone to do that. The process will slow down. So yes, you must use preventative. Like this, yes, we can just keep coming back and doing more transplants. It's not in your best interest. We want to stop it. Keep your gut, fill in the gaps, and that's it.
How long will it last?
How long will a transplant last? Pretty much until you die. Look, the hairs that we use from the neurodermal area, these are the last in the body to ever thin. So when I say you're dying, if this starts to thin, you're close to dying. Okay? Things aren't so cool in here. Okay? Don't worry about it. This is the last thing you're worrying about. Okay? Remember, this area here generally is not receptive to the hormone DHT. Quite simply, that means, how are you doing, man? This is probably the last thing you're going to have in here. You look at all the movies of cowards. Just the hairline and the back and sides and back. That's all they got there. It's the last one to ever fall out. So when we move it here, it doesn't know. If I take your head from the hair, the back of your head, and I'll put it on the end of your nose. It doesn't know it's on the end of your nose. In 3 years, you're going to be really pissed at us, so you're going to keep cutting it. It's going to keep growing. It doesn't know not to grow. So we can take your head here, put it anywhere in the body, and it will continue to grow. Okay? And this blood supplies.
After the implant,
Yep.
whatever you call it, you can't touch the hair for 1 week or
No. Well, 3 days, we want you to be super careful. Okay, it takes us 3 days for their graft to attach to his blood supply and start drawing on his own blood supply. So the first 3 days are the most critical in a transplant. By day 3, you're shampooing again. Okay, so we want you to rigorously start shampooing by day 5. Okay, really, because you've got little scabs that form on the scalp. We want those gone by the end of the week. We want you back at work. Okay, the only thing that you'd be probably self-conscious was you got this like a little mini scab up there. And because it's attached to your hair, you're scared to touch it. You think, oh my gosh, my hair's all going to fall. Now after day 3, they're growing. We've got to slowly lift those scabs off now so you can return back to normal. Okay. 3 weeks off work. You know, you can't afford the time on top of that. You know, we want you back to normality as quick as possible. And this is why we do a lot of unshaved hair transplants. We've got CEOs of businesses and that, and they want to be back to work in a few days. So unshaved, you can be back to work very, very rapidly.
So no specify how long do you have to wait to go back to work?
How long? If you're Polish, about 2 hours. I don't know, like I've never, she's on the reception. You should be here. But yeah, I always recommend, like, in all honesty, look, depending on your ethnicity, look, if you've got darker skin, so we're talking 3 or 5 days. It's amazing. You know, it looks really good. If you're white, frankly like me, man, take a week off work. Okay, because you're going to show redness for a good week, solid. And how quick and comfortable you'll be at it. I've got guys, and I'll be living back on taxi driving 2 to 3 days after surgery. I don't care, don't care. But there is no restriction from being able to physically work. Unless you've got a really, a job that involves a lot of heavy lifting, we always recommend at least a week off. Okay, you don't want to go heavy lifting, only because it affects your blood pressure. And that blood pressure can then stop the graft attaching as well as it's fixing. But other than that, everyone else, like me, can make a week the next day. Tim, needs work next day, mate. Same day. Same day, bloody better, yeah. other questions?
I just wondering, just now when you said the
Eyebrows? Yes.
So what about eyelashes?
Very tricky. Look, the technique involved then is a technique we currently do. We can't inject into eyelids right now. It's a bit scary. So it is a different technique. And if you've ever seen an eyelash transplant, they're a little bit different. It involves going like a little hook to come up through the hair through. So it's a different technique, Sally. So this technique is probably not suited to eyelashes, but eyebrows that helps. Yeah.
Where do you get the hair from?
We actually use your neck hair. The hairs under your neck. They actually grow a little bit shorter than the rest of your hair, and they're actually really fine. The body produces a couple of hormones which will actually adjust the follicle and train the follicle to actually be a body hair. It takes generally about 2 years for that to occur. So even though we use the finest hairs of your neck, we inject those into your brows. For the first 2 years, those hairs will grow a bit longer, like a bit like John Howard, but no, they will get a bit longer, and you just have to trim them for the first couple of years, but they will slowly train into an eyebrow hair and actually become something gross due to a couple of hormones that we produce. So.
Just one more last question. I think it's silly or what, I don't know, because in the medical world, we have a lot of these different techniques. And
Yes.
We are human beings. So when they say you need a kidney or a gallbladder or something, you have a donor. So like, hey, can we get someone like a donor? And
Yes,
that?
but they
Because we got not enough.
No, see, the only problem is we can. The only case that's actually ever worked successfully is a biologically identical twin. So they probably also lost their brows or their hair, and one of you can have, and one of you can't. So yes, you would have to actually decide whether this is rock it out, and just decide who's going to have hair. Yeah. It's a shame, because what happens is it's an organ, so the body will actually reject it. So you actually have to be on anti-rejection drugs to make sure the graft remains in the body, so you can't use other people.
So
It's not worth the cost.
If you use it, or you don't need the anti-rejection. So what about stem cells that you
Yeah, stem cells are evolving rapidly, and we've got to look at the Japanese. They're doing great work over in Japan at present.
So how quick you can come with that?
Look, man, shoot me, man. I've been asked this before, and I was really stupid in the 90s. Because someone asked me, I said, oh, it's only 10 years away. Because it's not.
A lot of things is stupid.
That's
so
right.
I think, why don't you just start doing it?
Yeah, we have these really tough regulations and that sort of thing, and we really want to find the people that will just allow us to test stem cells on them, but it's sort of illegal in Australia still. But as the Japanese are really advancing this technique, and they're doing some amazing things. And you research what they're doing, and we're talking true microscopic level, peeling back a follicle, extracting papilla stem cells. We're talking their stem cells at the bottom of a hair follicle, talking 0.5, 0.6 of a mil. Okay, they're peeling back the root sheath and extracting the stem cells from those, harvesting them, and this is where the technology is going to go. And it's going to be expensive. Oh my gosh.
And during the surgery of the implant transplant, whatever, so obviously the anesthetize and the scalp.
Yeah.
Can't feel it. And then are there any more medications that you apply?
Yeah, we give you antibiotics. Like we're sticklers for basically the only thing that we ever get concerned about, and we deal with guys all the time, of course, so they're dirty and they don't look after themselves properly. A lot of the time, our guys, especially up in Brisbane, everyone gets antibiotics for 1 week. Okay, so we give you a topical antibiotic, and we just give you So last thing we ever would wipe up there. So everyone gets antibiotics regardless. But yeah, sometimes we give you a bit of prednisone if there's a bit of swelling. If anyone's risk of prone to swelling, like we have to report a really high density front hairline. When you go in, as I said, we want everyone back and work as soon as possible. Yeah. That's literally it. There's no other maintenance. No magical shampoos, no laser beams, nothing, no minoxidil after surgery. The idea is you do this because you want to finally fix it. So you don't have to be reliant on the things to make it grow. Your body will just grow its own hair.
So nothing is put when you're implanting it, no medication.
Oh, just a bit of your own plasma. I don't know if you guys have heard about PRP, platelet-rich plasma. We use that to make tissue heal quicker. Yeah, other than that, it's all natural.
So for some of us, the hair of the donor area is sort of grey in different colours. better the hairline?
Yeah, it's good, a nice salt and pepper look you end up with.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of dining here if you want to.
Yeah, now what we do, okay, this is the beautiful thing about a surgery is when we put a bright light on the back of your head, all the white hairs disappear. You see your dark hairs. So they're the first to come out. So yeah, if you're really white, you're going to dye your hair so we can actually see them. It's actually impossible to see the white hairs under bright lights. But if you're speckled and you've got enough dark hair to support the graft, we'll just take really dark hairs, which means you're going to be really great back.
White and dark hair look good.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? Ladies? Oh.
Use a razor or one of those?
Yeah, well,
You actually shave it off with a razor when you do the
shave it. Yeah, it is right. Shave it off and we extract from the plant straight away. As I said, we do a lot of cases these days unshaved, just because of the importance of getting back to work. It just limits the amount of hairs we can do in a day versus shaving a head where it's like a clean cut. Oh my God, we just go crazy. It's all about the speed for us. We are on time limits. We can't perform surgery for 24 hours a day. We can only really basically operate for a maximum, say, 10 hours a day before fatigue kicks in. So we want to get as much done as quickly as we can. So it's better to make it easy for the surgeons.
Can you wear a cap after the surgery?
Oh, sorry?
Bacterial cap?
Yeah. Okay, look. Guys, once again, I don't know what goes through their heads. We do surgery, 2 days later they come in with a 10-year-old bloody cap on. There's never been shampoo. Like, what were you freaking thinking, man? Wash the bloody hat. We don't mind hats. Hats not going to make your hairs not grow. But if they're dirty, that's why everyone gets antibiotics. Because guys are crap. We just don't do what we're meant to do. Keep stuff clean, put a clean hat on. That's it. And I'm talking even celebrities have rocked in with a 15-year-old rugby league hat on. I'm like, is that thing clean? He looks at his wife. He just doesn't know. Like he just had surgery 8 hours ago. Yeah, as long as it's clean, we don't care. Beanies, caps, day 3, day 4, you can start wearing a hat comfortably. The first 2 days, if you're going to wear a hat, just be careful. Don't make it tight. Put it on really carefully again. We've got clients who go back to work really quickly. And they're generally not in a labour-based role, more basically a desktop role, so they'll put a cap on. Yes. We will replace those baby hairs, yeah, because we can't get the baby hairs that we stimulated in. There's too much cell damage occurred at the base of the hair root. So effectively, we better just replace over time. Put stronger hairs in.
So come back to the pricing. Is there a special scheme or payment that you can buy it like a package or whatever? Because it's so expensive.
Yeah, look, that's right. One thing we've been really mindful of the fact is trying to make it more affordable for clients. So these days, yes, the government tried to intervene and stop us from doing anything, but we can offer like payment terms these days. It's becoming better as interest-free payments. So there are those terms available. You should definitely have a chat to one of the guys from the clinics. They'll definitely assist you in that front. It's becoming easier and slightly more affordable. That is.
So when do you see the patients after the implant?
How often?
When
Oh, straight away. Look, so we see basically our patients the next day. Yeah, we do offer LED light therapy. I don't know if anyone knows about LED light therapy, but it helps reduce inflammation, swelling, and redness. So if you can, we always recommend coming in as much as you can for that. Maximise it. It's part of the process. So if you can come in every day, we will check up on it every day, see how you're going, see if everything's going planned, are you happy with everything. But I always have 1 week follow-up, then a month follow-up, a 3-month follow-up, and a 6-month follow-up. No charge for those, just want to make sure that we're happy with the way things are progressing. We guarantee our results. Okay, so we don't even want to get it wrong. Because if we get it wrong, we've got to repair it for free. So that's something we didn't want to do. So we're really, really careful on our post-procedure protocol to make sure we really look after you guys. And it's a one only procedure. That's all you want to really do. Get it right the first time. I've got a flight to catch. Okay, cool. They'll still let me on. Sean?
Yes. 1 second, sorry.
You going
You to it?
You
You're okay.
Hi
everyone, how are you? Hi everyone, how are you? It's an interactive section, it's a bit different. I don't talk to you. Stand up, please. Now sit down. Now stand up. Go on. Now sit down. Stand up. Just do one for me, please. Good man. There you go. Well done. Sit down. So if you've eaten 3,000 calories today, or 5,000 calories, you just burnt 1 calorie. So good luck with the rest of those calories that are burned off. Number 2, is it working?
Ready?
Ready. This is the most important part. Sorry guys. Are we filming? Facebook world, welcome to the presentation at DHI. We're discussing hair transplants and hair with factor 4. As I was just saying, you've just sat up and sat down 3 times, so you've burnt 1 calorie, but you've also got the heart racing. Not just looking at me, obviously standing up and sitting down, but what's actually happened is a thing we call scientifically called hyperemia, which means you've got more blood flowing to your head and your fingers and your toes. And these 3 things are the extremities which are really hard to get blood to. What is blood often referred to? A single word. What's blood referred to? Sorry? Yeah? Keep going. What do you put to your belly? What do you eat? Blood is food. Blood feeds your skin, your organs, obviously internally, but also to your hair. Your hair needs growth, it needs food, it needs to nourish. One of the things that we can do from taking your blood in a sample is take it from being plasma, which we referred to before, which is PRP, to another generation called serum. So in your blood, you've got growth factors and cytokines. Have you heard of those before? Show of hands, no. Show of hands, yes. Come on, interact with me. It's more fun of you helping me along the way. So we have things in our blood, thank you. We have things in our blood that help assist the growth of your skin and of your hair. So what we're doing with Factor 4, we have a technology that we've taken away, we're taking into the country, sorry, and we can, in a tube of a 10ml tube, we can get your blood in there, we incubate it for a period of time, and we can synthesize a particular blood cell to create more concentration levels of your growth factors and your cytokines in a very, very natural, autologous way. Many other PRPs or blood products use additives, or they might use an anticoagulant or something like that to activate the blood. We don't actually do that. We say we take a blood sample from you, we process it to get the serum, and then we put it back into you, which is still you, untouched. And the way that we can do that is 2 ways. We can skin needle it, hello, we can skin needle it into the scalp, or we can inject it, which would be done by a doctor or a nurse. And what we're doing is injecting your growth factors and your cytokines to feed, nourish, and regenerate the cell, or in this case, the papilla. Okay? The papilla is known as the root. Okay? So if we have a follicle, which is what we can see on the head with our natural eye, a normal eye, we have the ability, if the follicle is still there, to grow your hair if the root is still there. And there are lots of follicles that we can't see with the human eye. So we have the technology with DHI, we even have a technology using the back of your mobile phone. If you got the back of your mobile phone and put it onto your scalp really closely, took a picture and then enlarged it, you would see follicles that you can't see with your eye. Okay? So if the follicle is still there, it means the root is still there. And if the root is still there, we have a chance to grow the hair. Okay? And how we're doing that is if you've got an area of male pattern baldness, for example, or you've got a patch at the back or a patch at the front that's annoying you, that you don't like, where you're losing hair from due to age, due to male pattern baldness, due to alopecia, we have the ability to inject your serum back into that area to help grow the hair. Okay? I call it your food. You're putting your food from your blood back into your scalp to help grow the hair in a very, very natural way. So, is a transplant for everybody? In some cases, maybe not. What are your options? Massaging your scalp, eating good food, standing up and down 1 million times during the day, get blood flow to the scalp, could become a bit tiresome and a bit boring and labour intensive. Or there are other things that you can use like Factor 4 to increase the hair growth of your scalp. Okay? It's a simple process. You come into the practice, the doctor, the nurse will take a blood sample from you, they'll process that blood into giving the serum from you, and then every 2 weeks, for 6 treatments, you'll come back and have a treatment done on a Friday every 2 weeks, okay, in the phase that the hair is growing in. And then we then do the treatment regime, we then rest it for 3 months to see how the growth of the hair is going, and if need be, and in some cases, we might get you back in to do another course, or we can see the hair is growing really, really well, wildly, and then we will leave it and see how you go. So there's a cycle of growth that your hair will go on, okay? Is it going to cure your baldness or your alopecia? In some cases, it will slow it down, and in some cases, if you have got alopecia areata, it may control it. But if you have got the bald gene, and a lot of people do get the bald gene, unfortunately, it's going to slow the process down. Will it get rid of it entirely? I can't stand here and say yes it will. There are other things that you can do, but these are things that you can do before you get to the extreme, if you want to call it that, of having a surgery or a transplant.
So what is this one?
What's that, sorry?
How much is this?
How much is this? It depends, and you'd have to have a consultation. I don't know what they charge. I think it's $3,000, something like that, for a series of 6 treatments. I think something like that. I'm not sure. Sorry, you'd ask them.
6 treatments in it lasts for how many months?
So you'll have you'll have 6 treatments at 2-week intervals. Okay, then they'll get you back in 3 months, and they'll assess the growth of your hair and see how it's going. They'll take photographs. They'll show you. You'll see as well. Then when you get you back in the 6-month mark, and then we'll check again, and then 9 months, and then 12 months. In most cases, patients will have a series of injections, 6 series. Then we'll get you back in at 3 and 6, and usually most patients get to 12 months before they do the process again. So it just slows down, regulates it, and gets the hair growing again.
So when you say injections, where do you inject it on the scalp?
Into the scalp.
Into
Into the area where you can't see the hair anymore, so where you're losing the hair.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little sharp jab, doesn't hurt, very, very quick, very, very painless. It's a needle.
Because that's a very interesting technology that we have, that you take that your blood, that plasma thing, and do it.
What we've got is a technology where we convert the plasma into serum. So plasma has lots of cells in it, and serum doesn't. But what's exciting is that 10.3 million injections have been done with this technology around the world into human tissue. So that's skin, hair, musculoskeletal, sports injuries, tendinopathy. So it's just a process where we're taking you out, concentrating you, and then putting you back in, which makes perfect sense.
So how many procedures of this you have already done?
In Australia?
Yeah, in this PRP.
Thousands.
Oh, there are thousands.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So a lot. Yeah. I
So
don't know off the top of my head. Sorry,
no,
but yeah.
because when we read up and asked, visited you, you didn't tell much about the PRPs.
PRP is a technology that we get from blood. So I'll put it to you this way: you and I are both human beings. Well, I think I am most of the time. You're a woman and I'm a man, correct? So biologically, we're human beings, but we're different, correct? Blood, PRP, blood, serum. So you've got PRP, which is a technology that's been around for a long time, and on the other hand, you've got autologous conditioned serum, also been around for a long time, not as publicly known as PRP, okay? But it still comes from your blood, okay? So if you go onto the website, if you go onto the DHI website, you'll see a section in there about regeneration with factor 4, okay? And you can just...
But it didn't start, I think I did read about it, but it's not clear as what you explained.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. Yeah, exactly. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're just taking your blood, getting a sample, converting it from plasma into serum, and then we have all these little syringes for you, which we keep on site, we freeze them, and then when you come in, we sit you down, we clean you up, and then we inject it into your scalp. Takes 15, 20 minutes, and then we send you home, and you come back every 2 weeks to have that done.
So before you do all this, you have to wash your hair first before you come in?
Oh, if you want to wash your hair before you come in, that's nice, but you can come in, you can have a big Jackie O hat and big glasses and go out and no one's going to see you. You can do whatever you want to. We just suggest that you don't wash your hair for 12 hours after you've had the procedure. And the wonderful thing about this, the wonderful thing that I like to see and tell patients about all the time, is your recovery time is a lot less because of your own growth factors and your own cytokines. So your ability to heal is faster because it's not synthetic.
Yeah.
We're not putting anything additive into it. Looking at how quickly that wound heals over. This is what happens with the human body when you're doing things like factor 4.
Okay, now last question, like the people like us, like me also, and she, we have very fine hair, and each time when we, I mean with our age too, each time when we comb, it just wrinkles up halfway through.
Yes.
And sometimes they break off from their skull, and but then leave the follicles inside, and it does not push up and grow, so it's so slow. So what is this? How do you?
Two things could be happening. Could be hormonal, and I don't know what your background is, but I'm suggesting it might be hormonal, which is often the case. It's part of the aging process, unfortunately, as well. But what we can do is increase the growth of your hair and the health of your scalp by injecting your serum back in.
So this is possible.
And this is very, very possible. And what's really important to note as well is that the health of your scalp is so important. So if you're using a shampoo that's of poor quality, that's not alkaline based, it's acid based, it's going to strip the acid mantle. These are really important things as well. So you're diluting what you're doing to your scalp. Unfortunately, while you think you're washing your hair with a shampoo, which is what you should be doing, there are grades of quality that you should be using. So a quality shampoo might cost you a bit more, but it's going to be good for the health of your scalp and your hair.
So you can guide on this, what kind of shampoo that you should.
I'm not the right man to tell you about that because I'm probably the worst person that washes his hair with soap, but being completely honest, but you would need to speak to the guys from DHI and find out what they would suggest. I don't actually know, but a brand like Redken, a high quality brand shampoo that you would buy from a reputable hairdresser.
Rogaine and all that?
Sorry?
Rogaine.
Rogaine?
Yeah.
I don't know that. You'd have to ask the guys. I'm sorry, I've got no idea. Okay, so just throwing some options at you. So you have got the ability to be able to transport your hair into another growth phase for a period of time using your own blood, which is your food, which is your life. Any questions? Short, sharp, and sweet. Makes sense now?
Yeah, I know. Because just that it is no pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain. If I go to the gym saying that, really? Any questions, guys?
Any side effect or
Any side effects? Yes, there can be. You can get some mild swelling in the area, which is very, very normal if they're putting a needle into you. Some people have complained of having a mild headache when they're finished, and that's very normal. They're very transient, it won't last. And of course, if you have got some bleeding on the scalp, we will do our best to remove that for you, but we suggest that you don't wash your hair for 12 hours. So your hair could be a bit messy, might have to wear a hat. Worst case scenario, next day, get up, have a shower, and carry on as normal.
on this PIP?
With factor 4. So factor 4 is not PIP. Just setting you off like that. It's not PIP. Okay? PIP is here. Woman. Factor 4 is man. So factor 4 is different to PIP. Okay, different biologically. Okay? Same thing from blood, just different. Alright? Any questions? You want to improve the facial hair, your chest hair, your back hair, any other hair? All right. Yes, ma'am.
So you said you take the blood of that same person.
Yes.
And inject it back into the same person.
Yes.
How long is that process? Like, is it you take it, process it, bring it back at the same time? Or?
Yep. So what we do is we take a sample of your blood for all of the treatments that you're going to have. We keep that on site in a freezer. It's got a hospital label around it. It's in a hospital plastic bag. When you come in, obviously it's logged out under your name with your syringe on there. It's called to you, and that will last in the freezer for up to 7 months. Okay, so it's kind of like putting chicken in the freezer. It's protein. Okay, so when you put it in there, it's frozen obviously. Once you've taken it out and it's defrosted, you've got to use it. So you need to make sure that you've got it into your scalp or wherever you're going to put it within a couple of hours. Okay. Any other questions? Any questions on Facebook world there, Robin? No questions. No questions. No more questions? Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. If you do have any questions and you want to ask us individually, feel free to ask us afterwards. And then talk to the guys, obviously, Nico and his team, Robin here on the camera doing handy work there. About factor 4 and the treatment regime as well.
Excuse me.
Yes.
When you put it in the fridge, let's say for 7 months, as
Yes.
you say,
Yes.
so there won't be the balance, isn't it? It's exactly, you measure the amount.
Correct. So we have the same amount in each tube of those 6 tubes. So depending on what size area we're working on, so let's say we're working on the crown of the head for a man, which will be quite a large area, we take enough blood to make sure we have enough treatments for the whole area that we're injecting or that we're skinning with. Yeah. Make sense? Alright, so there's no need to be bald anymore. Alright, on that note, Facebook, well, thank you very much. Any questions, let us know. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, please give thumbs up or thumbs down. How was it?
The last one
Good.
was very good.
So if you obviously now have any further questions or things that you want to discuss, obviously our doctors are available, team consultant unavailable, Robert, everybody is obviously equipped to answer most of the questions, but then any of more medical and more precise things, Dr. Bosch, in Alexis is somewhere, I believe. How do we book the free PRP treatment?
Yeah, we've got a room to cross the hallway and we'll take bookings over there, so we'll go and do that.
So everyone who got in, we promise they will do PRP treatment. So,
Kim, do you want to, go sit on, have you got a laptop?
That's me, but we need to book. I've got my phone. I've got my yeah.
No, the measure you
Alright, let's do that.